I want to ask you a question. Last time you went on holiday, a proper holiday, more than a long weekend, how many times did you check your phone for work? Not how many times you meant to, how many times you actually did. If the answer is more than zero, there's something worth understanding about the word freedom, because most business owners use it to describe a situation that isn't quite right. In this video, I want to show you the difference between the freedom most business owners think they have and the freedom the best built businesses actually give you. And more importantly, a simple test to tell exactly which one you've got. Because there are two completely different things that can look like success from the outside, and only one of them actually is. There's a version of business ownership that feels like freedom and isn't. And there's a version that is. They look nearly identical from the outside. Same kind of business, same revenue, maybe even the same team size, but the owner's experience is completely different. And what the business is worth is completely different. The first is self-employment at scale. The owner built something that works, but it works because of them. Clients call them, team members ask them, decisions wait for them. The business runs, but the engine is the owner, and the engine has to be present. If you stop, it slows. If you step away, it stutters. The revenue is real, but the freedom is not, because freedom, by any useful definition, means the business doesn't need you to be there for it to function. The second type of business is actual ownership. The business runs because of what's been built inside it. The systems, the frameworks, the relationships that are held by the team rather than the owner. The owner sets direction, they make the big calls, but the daily operations don't root through them. And the business doesn't pause when they step back. Both owners might take the same 2-week holiday. One of them checks their phone 14 times a day, cuts a call short to handle something, and comes back to a backlog that only they can clear. The other one sets an out of office, puts the laptop in a drawer, and comes back to a business that moved forward without them. Same business, same industry, completely different reality. The distinction matters for 3 reasons. First, it determines the quality of your life right now. Second, it determines what happens when something unexpected comes up. An illness, a family situation, a moment you can't be available. Third, it determines what your business is worth to anyone who might ever want to buy it. Owner-dependent businesses sell at 2 to 3 times earnings. Owner-optional ones get 4 to 5, and sometimes more. The multiple isn't a measure of how good the business is. It's a measure of how much the business still needs you. Quick pause. If you want to know where your business currently sits on that spectrum, specifically which parts still depend on you and which ones don't, I've built a free audit that scores it across 12 areas. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it gives you a clear picture of where the dependency lives. Link is in the description. There are 3 things that feel like freedom but aren't. And the reason most owners don't catch it is that each one of these things is a genuine achievement. The business did grow. You did earn something real. So the feeling of, I've made it, it isn't wrong. It's just incomplete. The first is the ability to choose your hours. Most business owners can decide when to work. They can take a Friday afternoon off. They can skip a meeting they don't want to be in. And that flexibility feels like freedom, especially if they came from a job with fixed hours. But the ability to choose your hours is not the same as the ability to not work. If you don't show up, something stalls. And that's not freedom. That's a schedule you set yourself. The second is being your own boss. Nobody tells you what to do, and that genuinely matters. But if your clients dictate your time, if your team's questions dictate your decisions, if the business dictates your availability, you have a different set of bosses. And you can't leave them behind on a Thursday afternoon. The third is revenue. The business makes money, and that money creates options. It pays for the holiday. It pays for the school fees. It funds the life. And that's real. But money without freedom of presence is wealth in a cage. You can afford to go anywhere, and you can't actually go. Here's what this looks like on a holiday. The phone goes off. A client wants something. A team member needs a decision. Something has gone sideways and only you know the context. So you deal with it. You spend 40 minutes on a call in the hotel room. You tell yourself, it was just this once. It wasn't just this once. This is what it always is. The business followed you because the business is you. None of these three things is a failure. They're progress, but they're not the destination. Calling them freedom before you've checked whether they are is a thing that keeps the finish line from moving closer, because you've already told yourself you crossed it. Real freedom has a specific shape. It's not abstract. It's not a feeling. It's observable. Observable characteristics that you can either see in your business or you can't. The phone is in the drawer. It's not phone checked once a day. Phone in the drawer. Because when you're gone, there's nothing that requires your unique access, your personal call, your executive override. Another way, laptops at home, because the decisions that move the business forward while you're away don't need your input. The frameworks and the authority are already distributed. The team doesn't wait. It just moves, and the business keeps moving because of it. Revenue continues. Clients are served. Problems get handled, not by bouncing issues up to the founder, but by the systems and the people who know what to do. I think about this in terms of what would change the second you removed yourself from the equation. If you disappeared for 30 days, no contacts, no check-ins, no questions answered, what would actually break? Some things breaking is expected. Things at the strategic level, the long horizon decisions, the relationships that are genuinely yours to hold. That's appropriate. A business isn't built to be abandoned. It's built to not need you for the daily activities. But if the operational answer is everything would break, that's the picture. The business isn't built to stand on its own. It's been built around you. The owners who achieve real freedom don't get there by stepping back and hoping. They get there by deliberately building something that doesn't need them for daily operation, while keeping them essential for direction. That can be the most known externally, but the least required internally. That's the inversion. And it's a design decision, not a lucky outcome. Here's the test. It's 3 parts. You can do it right now without going anywhere. So part 1, the phone test. If you turned your phone off for 3 working days, no calls, no messages, no checking, what would be waiting for you when you turned it back on? Is it things that could have been handled without you? Or things that genuinely couldn't move until you were available? If the backlog is full of decisions that only you could make, the business is built around you, not away from you. Part 2, decision test. Think about the last 10 decisions that came through you this week. How many of them required something that only you have? That could be a relationship, piece of context, an authority level, and how many of them were decisions that should have been made without you, by someone with the right framework or the right role. If most of them required you, not because you're better at them, but because there's no one else set up to make them, the system is missing. Okay, part 3, revenue test. If you took a 3-month sabbatical, like truly offline, would the revenue still be there when you came back? Not lower because of a few things you missed, but roughly intact. Or would it have tracked down because you were absent? Revenue that follows the founder, the owner, is owner-dependent revenue. Revenue that's attached to the business is what buyers pay a premium for and what gives you genuine options. Most owners know their answer to all 3 of these questions before they even finish asking them, because the evidence is already there in the backlog, in the meeting calendar, in the WhatsApp messages from the team. The honest answer is usually, I failed 2 out of the 3. Maybe all 3. And that's not a reason to panic, it's information. It tells you exactly where the work is. The test is not the goal. The goal is building a business that passes the test. And the owners who pass aren't the ones who work harder or smarter. They're the ones who made a deliberate decision to stop being the engine and to start being the architect. They built systems, they transferred knowledge, they distributed relationships, created decision frameworks, and not all at once, but consistently over time. You don't go from failing all 3 questions to passing all 3 overnight, but you can start with the one that's costing you the most right now before it costs you something you can't get back. Most business owners build something extraordinary and then stay trapped inside it. The thing they built to give them freedom becomes the thing that owns their time, their attention, and their presence. And the longer it goes unfixed, the more it costs in energy, in relationships, in the exit value that it quietly erodes. Real freedom isn't about the revenue, it's about whether the business needs you to be there for the revenue to exist. If you want to know which parts of your business are still dependent on you and which ones aren't, the 12 Chains Audit maps it in 5 minutes. It's free, the link is in the description.